I mentioned to you that Gumtree was the local train station about 5 miles away. But, there was also a post office and a little general store belonging to Mrs. Ramsey, as the kids called her. But there was also a school. That is the school that I attended from first grade. But there was only 28 pupils in that school, ranging from first grade till seventh grade. 28 in total. All the same teacher, instructing different age groups. But I think it was maybe the third day of school, of my career as a student attending school. It was not even time, the bell had not even rung for the first break. But I was hungry and I took my suitcase, pulled it, and opened it, and started eating my sandwiches. And the next thing that Mrs. Brown came charging at me, shrieking and yelling and goodness knows what. I just crazy. And the next thing is she had an 18-inch ruler and she whacked me over on the fingers or the hands, whatever, for not eating my sandwiches during the break, but eating it in class. I didn't know I was not allowed to eat it in class, so I couldn't understand what the hell she was hitting me for, because that was not spanking, that was just hitting me. And luckily, about 10, 15 minutes later, I was in total shock. Luckily, 10 minutes later, the bell rang, so it was the first break of the day. I decided to hell with this. Took my bag, my student bag or whatever, with my, not that I had books in it, because we didn't have books, we just had a slate. And it was one of those leather things with straps, and you could carry the bookcase or a briefcase or whatever over your shoulders. It was not a hand carrying thing. That kind of stuff was for big grown up children. But anyhow, I walked up to Blokkie, put the bridle on, and said to Ines, cheers, I'm out of here. And yeah, it's 5 miles. 5 miles back home. And of course, maybe an hour or what later, I was coming up the driveway and my father was at the fruit packing sheds and he saw, what is this going on? And of course, he asked me, what's going on? I said, no, excuse me, this school going thing is not for me. And I told him what had happened. He said, well, let's go to your house and I'll meet you up at the house. He says, well, that's when I said, this school thing is not for me. I'll rather help him. I'm not going to go to school again. I'll just help him, with the farming. I like that much more. That appealed much more to me than doing this school thing. And when I got there, of course, told the story to my mother. My father came up, and the next thing is my mom told me, get in the truck. So I got in the truck, and there she carted me all the way back to school. And I know she and Mrs. Brown, she and Mrs. Brown had a conversation. But it turned out that she was chastising Mrs. Brown for hitting me and not explaining to me why she's hitting me. And secondly, because of her dirty fingernails. My mother could not say, look at you, it's disgusting how your fingernails are dirty, or something like that. But that was it. But I got to tell you this story again. With the dairy that we had to see to my father had always had about 12, 14 cows in lactation. And so every morning, me and the Pekingese had to round up the cows in the pasture around the dairy and bring the cows in for milking. And when they were done milking, to let them out again and release them on this pasture. Now, in winter time, it was difficult because we never wore shoes, neither me nor the Pekingese. So it was freezing and sub-zero temperatures, with water pipes often bursting because of frost and being frozen solidly. Anyhow, the only thing that we can do, that was a treat for me and the other Pekingese, is we would wrestle each other away from a fresh cow patty. So that you can run and put your bare feet in that fresh cow patty as to warm up your feet. But that was nothing funny. But I had to wash your feet, otherwise, when we had go back to the house, we had to wash our feet. Can't go with.
So when did you get your first pair of shoes?
I don't know. I had some shoes, but I never wore them. I refused to wear them. Didn't like them. And as I say, my shoes or my feet were so rough. Even if I wore the shoes, I would have worn them out from the inside instead of from the outside. But now another thing that I got to tell you about this damn dairy. Yeah. I could never whistle like my father could. This kind of whistle. I always had this rounded lip whistle. And I just couldn't get the sound out or volume out of that thing. And my father said, "No, there's nothing. It's not easy. He'll explain to me how. If we're in the dairy in the milking time or whatever in the mornings or afternoon time, just if you see the bull peeing, I mean, he was kept aside from the cows. But if you see the bull peeing, grab a cup and hold it under the bull and collect some of the urine." I said, "Why?" He says, "No," and then take a swig or two, or maybe three, if you really want to whistle really hard. And then, of course, it was always too late. Always too late. The bull, when I got to the cup, the bull was already done. And one day I was waiting for it, and I was lucky enough when that bull peed, I had the cup ready, and there I was. My father was watching me. Took a swig, took another swig, took a third swig, and my father started laughing, and I started crying because I still couldn't whistle. He told me if I took 3 swigs of bull pee, I would be able to whistle. Of course, that was the end of that. Right there, I was crying. I went up to the house. My mom wanted to know why I was crying, and I told her. Now, I don't know what the outcome of the story or whatever happened after that. All I know, it was a very quiet dinner that evening. Nobody spoke. But, yep, so that was my instructions of getting to learn how to whistle. I wasn't mad at my dad. He says, "Yeah, but you probably weren't holding your lips together and your teeth together properly." Yeah, okay. But eventually, months and months later, I started managing to whistle. He says, "Yeah, see, now you can." So if you didn't drink that bull pee, you never would have done.